Yo, what up, Toshi here. So we've made a video on every single character that is coming in 1.5 and 1.6 at this point. So with all of our newly profound knowledge, why not we talk about exactly what character you should go for, or if you should just skip all of them and just wait for the next characters. We obviously don't know who is coming after 1.6, but we can probably draw some conclusions based on what we currently have in the game. Let me explain. We talked about this many times, but Honkai Star has a very interesting way of letting you know what's to come into the future. Aside from their drip marketing they do around every patch in the game, at the end of every patch I would say, they're also showcasing characters in light cones, which lets us know that some characters, depending on the design they have, well, character like Green Eye Fen I never really expected to be an NPC, just because of the intricate detail that is put into the character's overall design, and it turns out she was a character, and well, we just had her. So, that leads me to believe that going forward, this is going to be the case. They're going to give us many ways of showing us exactly who's to come into the future. And I have something in mind particularly of what's to come after this patch. So funny enough, Ruan Mei is another character that ended up being playable, and we kind of knew that she was going to come at a certain point just because we see her alongside Herda. But we didn't know that Ruan Mei was Ruan Mei. I mean, the game didn't really explain that to us. We kind of just had to draw the conclusion. But now we have the character, and right here in the light code, we have the full design of the character. But all we know is that she is an Ice Harmony character, which is absolutely fine because a limited Harmony character is going to game change Honkai Star Rail, because Harmony is the strongest path in the game. But we have Screwlim right here, and Screwlim is another character that has not been revealed. But just like Herda and just like Ruan Mei, he will become playable at some point, so this leads me to believe that he may be upcoming as well. But for what he does in his path, that's a lot to be discussed about. And funny enough, when we looked at Topaz's light cone, we knew that Topaz herself was a character that was playable. And fast forward, and we actually found out that this person on the right is a character that Topaz has some type of affiliation with. Now, Topaz has always been bringing up this character called Aventurine. Hopefully I'm saying the name right. If you played the previous story expansion with Topaz and the event centered around her and the whole Pokemon themed event, then you understand that we got a glimpse of this character potentially who is the one she's talking about in her certain phone calls. Now, we have no idea if this character is going to be playable, but it's worth watching because I just believe that he may be a character that has some synergy with Topaz because, well, they already work together. Now, the unfortunate truth is that Honkai Star Rail pulled a Genshin Impact. Every single blonde waifu ends up just being... So if you're kind of on the fence about who you want to roll for from 1.5 and 1.6, it's better to just wait towards the end of 1.6 for what's to come into the future, or just wait for the kit reveals of Ruan Mei and a character like Dr. Ratio, because these are two characters that may end up being game changers for Honkai Star Rail. I'm leaning on the fence when it comes to Ruan Mei because as a Harmony character, she has a lot of potential to absolutely change the way you play the game, just like Bronya and Silverwolf. But we'll have to wait and see, of course, and of course, I believe that Silverwolf is the best pick when it comes to this patch and next patch overall. Now, of course, until we figure out what Ruan Mei does as a character. If you're not a new player and you don't like Mono Quantum, then you probably don't want Silverwolf, because that's pretty much what she excels at. She allows you to essentially tackle content that is harder. So for Memories of Chaos 11 and 12, she'll be a very valuable character, especially if you do end up using that Mono Quantum team comp. You're going to have one team that allows you to breeze through one half of the Memories of Chaos, which for a lot of accounts is very nice. And we learned that you don't have to use Fu Xuan. You can use Lynx, who gets the job done, which allows you to get that Mono Quantum 4 character team comp going. And with all of them being 4 stars except for Silverwolf, we'll get Zui in the near future. You're going to have a very nice team and set yourself up in your account for future On the Evers. Now, Huohuo is a character that I've actually really enjoyed, and the reason being is because she has allowed me to essentially play the game in a much more enjoyable manner. She gives the much needed energy to my characters that are very close to getting to ultimate. She makes rotations a lot more smooth, and she is that perfect last slot I've always needed in my team comps. So for me, she was a very valuable character, and fast forward, and her cleansing capabilities is the best we've ever seen. She gives energy, she gives attack increase to your team, so she's very good in hyper carry, and she's very nice for dot and dual DPS teams. If you are a Jing main, then you probably ended up getting this character, because she maybe had provided more value than a character like Fu Xuan for you. Maybe until in the future where we get to content where the enemies just straight up one-shot you. But I've already begun working on a video going over Huohuo and Jing overall, mostly Jing, because I think he's a very interesting character in Honkai Star Rail. So expect that video in the near future, well, once I do finish, the editing process of it. But Ruan Mei is a character that is worth watching because we have not gotten much information about the character. And the reason being is because Hoyoverse does their best to make sure that you don't know what's to come, because that plays directly into FOMO. If you knew what Ruan Mei did as a Harmony character, then you probably would end up skipping Silverwolf if she felt your account needs, and Hoyoverse definitely doesn't want that. So the only way we can kind of figure out what Ruan Mei is able to do as a character is A, the forbidden word, and B, just looking at what we already have in pre-existing Harmony characters and kind of drawing the conclusion as to what they could do to fill in the gaps of what those characters don't already provide. And Bronya is a character that doesn't really provide much value to the team, more so just a single damage dealer in hypercarry teams. So I expect Ruan Mei to be a much better team enabler versus a much better single DPS enabler. And that's part of the reason why Asta is a very solid character. We got her for free, and you probably use her in some of your dual DPS team comps. Fast forward, and she's a very nice character to use alongside Jing and Topaz in those dual DPS teams, because she gives attack and speed to the whole team versus just giving attack or energy like Ting Yun would give to one damage dealer. So she's very valuable in that sense, and I expect Ruan Mei to do something very similar. But one thing we are currently missing is a character that provides more than Asta does, because her buffs is mostly for the team versus split to one character. So in some situations, her buffs doesn't feel as good as it would if you were to use a character like Bronya. Of course, it depends on the situation. And I expect Ruan Mei to be that very nice in the middle between a 5-star version of Asta and a slightly worse than Bronya and hypercarry teams. We've made so many videos on Topaz in the recent past, and it's gotten to the point where, as you probably can tell, I am so burned out on the character. I do enjoy her overall. I think she's a very nice playstyle, right? She brings a very solid playstyle to the game that is different from all the other playstyles we currently have. And it's very much to the point where it brings more enjoyment because, well, after using certain playstyles at a certain point, you get kind of bored, right? Hypercarry can get pretty boring. Whereas Topaz is a character that allows you to bring another damage dealer, essentially another follow-up attacker, and you take advantage of the debuff she places on the enemy. Now, we have no idea what a character like Dodge Ratio is going to do, but if he is a character that synergizes with a character like Topaz, then he is a very solid damage dealer, because Topaz as a character alongside her buffs is able to put out a decent amount of damage depending on who else you use in the team comp as a buffer. Whether or not you think the Hunt path right now is a path that doesn't live up to the expectations of what it should be, you can agree that the Hunt path is a path that is going to be a lot more different from all the other paths based on the content we have already in the game, right? There isn't any true single target content where you're able to bring these characters and they shine greatly, so their value is kind of diminished in that sense. But I expect a character like Dodge Ratio, with him being imaginary, he should compete to the likes of Seal because she's a quantum character of a rare element, right? And she is a very high-hitting single target damage dealer. I expect Dark Ratio to be the same way. And like I said, if he does end up having synergy with the previous released Hunt character Topaz in this case, then he will become a much better damage dealer than maybe to the likes of Seal. We'll have to wait and see, of course, because if you have some of those premium options for your Topaz and he works well with her, you're going to have a very hard-hitting, imaginary, single target damage dealer. And there's one last character I must bring up because she's very important. Kafka has gotten no love ever since her release. I mean, we've gotten Huo, who is a very solid character to pair with her, and honestly, her best support now. But the truth is, that's pretty much it. Now, we do get 4-star dot damage dealers that aids Kafka in being a very nice character to pair with different elements, right? But the thing is that's pretty much it. We haven't gotten any 5-star characters to pair alongside Kafka. Now, Ruan Mei may be a character that ends up being very nice paired with Kafka. We'll have to wait and see, of course. So if you are a Kafka main, expect to have some very nice pseudo buffs coming along your way, because we've gotten so many pseudo buffs for Jing, and I expect that some love needs to be shown to Kafka, because this is Hoyoverse after all, right? Sell the solution. That's their motto. This video I kind of explained weirdly compared to all the other videos we've done of a should you pull video, because I talked about what's to come into the future potentially, and I also explained it in a way that was centered around playstyles, just because I want you all to know that there is very many different playstyles in Honkai Star Rail, and you should definitely pull for characters that suit your playstyle, right? Not play I mean, unless you want to, of course, but you should go for what you already enjoy in the game, because that's going to enhance your performance overall, right? If I'm a Topaz main, which, I mean, she is the brand on my channel, then I would go for characters that benefit from her follow-up debuff she plays on the enemy. If I am a quantum, okay, I am a mono quantum enjoyer, because I've probably made more videos on that than I made on any single hand comp in the game, right? then I'm definitely going to roll for Soul Wolf, and I will be rolling for that Quantum Harmony character whenever that character does arrive. So if you're like me and you want to roll for those specific characters for that specific team, then definitely pick up characters along the way that suit your needs like Soul Wolf. But if you're someone that enjoys a character like Kafka and you really do enjoy the dot playstyle, which honestly is very fun, then you definitely want to look towards getting a Harmony character that is going to suit your needs for a Kafka dot team, which Ruan May very much so will potentially be that character if I picture her to be a 5-star version of Asta. That's going to be the video here. Thank you for watching and have a nice rest of your day. Peace.